Well, now that I've told everybody why I don't like Phineas and Ferb and got me on everybody's hate list, don't you dare spout any hate comments. Don't you dare. Well, now that that's over with, time to get down to business. SpongeBob. Yeah, finally I get to tackle this show. How does something go from being your favorite cartoon to just one of the worst? It baffles the mind how something can sink so low. Well, even though pre-movie, yeah, I can't talk today. Anyway, pre-movie, it was really good, except for 3 episodes in my opinion. The Great Snail Race, Party Pooper Pants, and I Was Stupid. Basically the only pre-movie SpongeBob episodes I think are bad. My least favorite, of course, is The Great Snail Race. I do not like that episode that much. And there is all these episodes do have something good about them, but with this episode, it's not the good stuff overshadows the bad, it's the bad overshadows the good. That is not a good combo. Okay, down to business. Let's get to it. So basically, the episode starts off with Squidward getting a new pedigree, purebred pet, Snail. And there's also this pretty funny running gag where Squidward keeps getting his last name mixed up with tennis balls, tentacles, tortellini. Pretty funny. And the setup is pretty good where Squidward, this is how you do Squidward, right? You make him arrogant. He has purebred and then, because it's all fancy and whatnot, he insults Gary, which puts SpongeBob on the defensive side. And it turns out Squidward's gonna enter the snail in a race, a snail race and whatnot. And SpongeBob says that Gary will be able to beat him, and Patrick enters a rock. Yeah, he calls it Rocky. Yeah, Rocky. Spoilers, Rocky wins. Yeah. That's another good part. The Rocky thing might get a little old, but it is still kind of funny. Okay, here's the first problem. SpongeBob forces Gary to compete without even asking him to. It's just SpongeBob. See, remember how I said the bad overshadows the good in the Great Snail Race? Yeah, SpongeBob is not a good character in this episode. He is really mean-spirited against Gary, forcing him to compete. And this episode also got ripped off by that one where he enters Gary in the pet show. And that's even worse. Yeah, I'd like to see what the Great Snail Race was in post-movie. Anywho, SpongeBob keeps trying to force Gary to do this stupid crap, and Gary doesn't want to, obviously, but he says he's doing it for him. Yeah, oh, that's so nice. Shut up, SpongeBob. Stop doing that to Gary. Okay, so now, after a couple jokes and whatnot, Squidward bragging, another Rocky joke, and then we get a few seconds of just seeing SpongeBob push Gary too far. And that is just very unpleasant to watch. I mean, how is this supposed to be funny? Writers, how is that supposed to be funny? So anywho, as you can see while they're heading towards the race track, Gary is completely exhausted. That's not good. Then there's more jokes, but really it kind of fails at a couple. Then we get, oh, I just remembered something. When SpongeBob actually made a sexist remark earlier, Sandy says she's gonna kick his butt tomorrow. Remember that? Okay. So then we finally get to the race, and there's still more Squidward bragging, SpongeBob being an ass. Then the race begins, and Squidward Snail's the only one that's going, and SpongeBob's just yelling and yelling at Gary. Just very mean-spirited, way out of character for pre-movie SpongeBob. So when Gary actually starts, he's still blowing up at. And then Gary's just, I don't know what really happens to Gary. His eyes blow up, then his shell kind of blows up, and he It's very disgusting that he runs into a wall with explosions. That is really unpleasant to watch. I mean, SpongeBob does eventually go to Gary and realize what he did wrong, but I don't think that's enough. But when Squidward Snail sees this, she goes to comfort Gary. Then somehow the snails. Then Gary recovers like that because he sees a pretty snail. And then it turns out Rocky wins. That was a little funny. But Patrick had the trophy entitled to Squidward, and Squidward Tortellini. That's not. It got pretty old. I did say it was funny, but then I realized it got old. And it ends with Sandy kicking SpongeBob's butt out of the stadium, which is very. Thank you, Sandy. SpongeBob was not likable. Man, my least favorite pre-movie SpongeBob episode, and it sucks really bad. It's just not good at all. And the bad stuff really overshadows the good stuff. And I can't believe that a bad episode got ripped off. Then again, SpongeBob You're Fired ripped off quite a few bad episodes, so yeah. The writers of SpongeBob are not that good. Pre-movie, they were pretty decent. Yeah. It's true, and, well, now that I got that settled, was its final ranking? The Great Snail Race gets 3 bronze stars, or a 3 out of 15. That seems about right. Well, now that I got SpongeBob out of the way, what do you guys think I should cover? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm Baconator, and don't you spout any hate at me for disliking Phineas and Ferb. Don't you dare do that. Don't you dare do that. Stop. Don't write that hate comment. Stop. Stop what you're doing.